You want to start us off?
Hey, Christian, how are you today?
Hey, good, Jorge. You?
Good. My first question is, last round you played a pretty significantly strong squad. Are you expecting to maybe play a similar squad like the one you played in the past U.S. Open Cup?
Jorge, I think the most important game is always the next one for me. And it's true that you have to do a certain amount of planning that we have to plan accordingly to the next games as well. But I don't want to make the mistake of looking too much ahead and not looking what is in front of us. So my idea is always to play the strongest team that I can, taking into consideration many variables that are, the game we just played not long ago, the game that we're going to play also on Saturday. And so we don't want to put too much strain on players that they might be on the verge of, going in the red zone in terms of physical exertion, but at the same time, we want to go as strong as we can.
Gotcha. Speaking of a lot of different variables, in less than 30 days, you have 7 matches coming up.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of conversations are you having, I guess, with your squad, given there's been so many injuries and so many unfortunate things that have happened recently?
This is part of football, Jorge. So the conversation is one, get ready. So use the days that we have off as a regen day, recovery day. And I think that the performance department and the guys, they do a good job with that, so that we monitor the way they feel after the game. Some of them want to have flushing down the system. Some others might prefer to have, just a pool day or just to stay at home and recover. But we keep on touch with all of them. So I can assure you that the day off that we have, especially when the game come thick and fast, like now, they are used as another way of training, another way of getting ready for the next training session, or getting ready for the next game. Our training session, they are me. I'm not prepared to compromise about the intensity. They have to be intense. So is the player's job to get ready and to train when we train at the same speed that they've always done. So it will be an interesting period, and as a football player, you want to play games, no? It's always more fun to play games than to play training sessions. So we have to make sure that they are ready, all of them, mentally, physically, and to be available for selection.
Gotcha.
Not more than that.
Okay, and then if you could provide an update on Malanda's injury and if we'll be seeing Yazviak pretty soon.
Okay, so Adil is thankfully he did an X-ray and he was negative. He did today a rehab session. So he's young, and that obviously is important, also the ability to recover. I think nothing too serious to worry about, which is great news for us. And is questionable for tomorrow. We will see, while Camille tomorrow will be part of the squad.
Awesome. And then my last question, I wanted to ask you this.
You said the last question before.
Very last one. I wanted to ask you this last press conference though. While you were coming out of the tunnel, I think someone was showing you a jersey that said Lattanzio out, and you just looked at him and gave him a thumbs up. I kind of want to know maybe your message to maybe people that doubt you or this current squad.
Listen, sometimes it feels like we are Real Madrid. I mean, it made me laugh. The shirt, enough is enough. It's like It's like this club has won 3 MLS Cup and 3 CONCACAF Champions League. So now enough is enough. We are building the club, and I think the boys are doing as good as they can. And we had some tough time in different ways. And so it makes me laugh. This impatience is really, for me, is kind of, I mean, what do you want me to say? I think that what I want to say though, is that there is, I receive from people that I see that might be in the street, or a lot of good support. And I think that there is a silent majority that I think they are behind the club. And they don't have to be behind me. Obviously, every coach has got I've got supporters that like him, and the other ones that don't. Everybody has an opinion on football. And I understand that, I respect that. This is not the problem. But to be behind the guys, if you are a supporter, you have to, they fight. Sometimes we get the result that we want, sometimes we don't. But I think that they are giving everything that they can every time. And so I think that I don't really follow the social media, but I know that some people can be really vocal on that, but I don't think so far that is a majority, or they can have an idea and then it spreads like it happens nowadays on social media. But honestly, I don't pay too much attention to that. The most important thing for me is that the players are in a good spot mentally, that they believe in the work that we are doing. This is my focus. And then the club is happy with the work that we are doing. When these variables change, but it's not going to be a t-shirt that is going to change my life, honestly.
Awesome. Thank you.
Because after, I didn't see this guy at the end of the game, though. It's okay. It doesn't matter. I mean, he will be happy with what he is, and whatever.
Right. Thank you. All right. Sam?
Hey, Coach, again, congrats on Saturday night.
Thank you, Sam.
So I wanted to start off by asking about the Open Cup. Last week, MLS Commissioner Don Garber had some pretty negative comments about the competition, criticizing the quality of the pitches that teams were playing on. I mean, honestly, being pretty negative about the entire thing, viewership, people being able to find the matches, the quality of competition. Obviously, I'd argue that, your opponent tomorrow would feel differently about that, seeing as they're the defending champions. And of course, even though international competition isn't as big as it is in Europe, the Open Cup still offers the chance for the team to get its first real international tournament bid. How important is the cup to you, and what do you see the value in it compared to, say, like the FA Cup or other similar competitions?
I think for us, the cup is an important tournament for the reason you just highlighted. In Charlotte, we are blessed because the pitch in which we play has actually been traditional. It's a good pitch, a sportplex. So we can't complain about that. I think that the supporters made a good atmosphere for the first game against Tormenta. And so from that point of view, I think that we have been quite happy and lucky with what happened. I don't know and so if the commissioner said that, he must have good reasons, because knowing him is a guy that is quite thoughtful in what he says. He's a guy that before he says an opinion, I think he has his reason to voice his opinion. So I am not familiar with all the with all the pitches in which he gets played and with all the situation, he will have a much better and much clearer picture of that. So I cannot really comment on that. But for us, I can only repeat that is an important competition, and we want to honor the competition as much as possible, especially in that we are playing tomorrow the reigning champion of the US Open Cup. So we want to do particularly well also for that.
And then is there a silver lining to Enzo and Derek getting their yellow card suspension this week, and that perhaps they can be more available or commit more to the cup this week?
There must be, because they always say that there is a silver line in anything. So I'm sure that there will be. I still have to see it, but I can promise that I will think hard in thinking the silver line. Yeah, I mean, there are two players that for us are important, but the silver line is that other players will get opportunities, and this is how, as I said many times, football works, life works, and we need to focus our energy on the players that can help us. But tomorrow, both of them are available, and so for now, we focus on that.
Thanks, Coach. All from me today.
Thank you, Sam.
All right, Willie P.
Afternoon, Coach. How are you?
Good afternoon. Thank you. I'm fine. Thank you.
How much was it gratifying to you to see Mackenzie Gaines pick up the assist in the way that he did for the opening goal? The first one.
Because the second one was even better. Unfortunately, we were offside in the build-up of the, but we didn't know at the time. And the second assist, I thought it was class.
Trust me, I didn't see it in live action myself. I had to go back and watch it. But how gratifying was it to see those two passes made by him? And I know he's worked on the final product a lot in his time.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a discussion because we did. I'm very gratified, very happy for him. He deserves that thoroughly. I am a big fan of his qualities. He knows that. And on Friday, we did the last. Actually, on Wednesday, we did a session in which he had 2 or 3 chances to do, and he didn't have the best assist day, let's say. And then I pulled him on one side, and he said to me, "Coach, you don't have to tell me anything. I know myself." And normally Mackenzie is quite studious, and he knew exactly what I mean. He could have had. But I know him, and I left him alone. I was just smiling with him. I said, and he said, "Yes, Coach, I know." And I trust him. He's a guy that works really hard. He's very attentive in the tactical work that we do with the ball, without the ball. And I was very happy for him because he deserved that. He works hard. He's gritty in his mindset, which I love. And so I was really happy. It would have been great, not just for us as a team, for Karol, because Karol attacked the goal really well on the goal that was disallowed, but also for him to have 2 assists under his belt would have been great. And I know that he thoroughly deserves that.
And in terms of tomorrow, I'm not trying to get you to release trade secrets, but how do you balance what you have to do in terms of getting a back line of chemistry, in terms of what you have to look like on Saturday, not having DJ, potentially not having Bill or Adilson? How much does tomorrow maybe serve as a proving ground for either Jan and Hamidi, or however you want to structure your center backs?
Yeah, we have to look at all this. These are all considerations that we have been thinking about since the end of the game against New York. We went, obviously we celebrated, and rightly so, with the coaching staff. But I can tell you that after 1 hour after the game finished, we were already in our room, in the meeting room, thinking about the Tuesday and how to balance the team, for knowing that Adil would have been questionable. Bill is not ready yet. And so we don't have a lot of choice at the moment in that department, but we will have to figure it out. We have already some solutions in our mind, and we have to focus, as I said many times, on what we have. You know, you can put your focus on what you have or what you don't have. And I choose always to put the focus on what I have in general, rather than what I don't have. Because I think with the little experience that life taught me is a lot more productive to focus on what you have rather than what you don't have.
That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Will.
All right. Steve?
Hello, Coach.
Hello, Steve.
Following up on what Sam was talking about with the comments, I've known Don for a long time too, and I'm still trying to figure out where he was coming from with his comments about the cup.
Mhm.
Because at first glance, to me, they seemed a bit uninformed in the sense that, you know, cups are different. When you have teams that could be 4 tiers apart playing against each other, that's why I love the romance of, you know, national cup tournaments, Copa d'Italia, you know, in Spain, and especially the FA Cup here. And what do you have any personal stories from involvement with cup play that you remember that you could share with us?
I have one that always is in my mind, and it was the first year I was at Manchester City, and the FA Cup in that sense is unique because everybody can participate, and so you have to be prepared to have strong games away from home, even if you are a big team. And this is the time where, you know, Manchester City started to build themselves to what they are now. So they've done an unbelievable job as a football group. And we were playing away with Manchester City and Notts County. At the time, Notts County was, I think, in League Two, the fourth year, but they were really buying players that were in Premier League, and it was a big project for them. In any case, we had a very, very difficult round, and we were losing 1-0 until very late. And then Edin Dzeko came from the bench, and he was having difficulties in the first few games since he was bought from Wolfsburg. And he came with an unbelievable goal. We tied the game, which meant we could play the replay at home. Obviously, at home, it was completely different, and we won by 5 goals, I think. I don't remember. But I remember that, and that year we managed to go all the way and win the FA Cup. It was the first trophy after so many years, and was probably the first trophy in this modern era of Sheikh Mansour. And it was significant for that. But I remember the difficulties that we had to play away from home. And like you say, could be the romance, but obviously you don't want you to be at the wrong end of the romance, you know, so that the romance is great for the cup, but then a big club is eliminated by a smaller club. That's why for me it's always important to respect the opposition, to respect the competition, to go as strong as you can.
What do you remember about the players going into that? Because I love the fact that it can be a humbling experience for players who have only known the quality of nice and big stadiums, and who came through academies and things like that. And on the other hand, it can be very exciting for these 3rd and 4th tier teams to go into these, majestic palaces. But for the city guys, when you're playing, because I'm not familiar with Notts County grounds. I've been to City Ground where Forest play, but did you see?
In England there is so much tradition. Notts County has been for many years. It was the team in which played, I think, Stanley Matthews. So many teams they've got. It was a regular top division team. So you go in places where they might be not in the top league now, but they were in the last, they've been for 20 years in different eras, but the tradition is there, the history is there. So you can never underestimate any ground in which you go, because you do it to your peril. Also in France, I can tell you that having worked in France, the leagues, you know, to go around, to go and win every round is difficult, even if you go and play in small places, because there is a history and tradition. And then even if now, as I said, the teams, they might not be in the top tier anymore, but at some point they were, and there is passion, tradition, history. And wherever you go, you have to go always with the right attitude and mentality. Otherwise, you risk to be eliminated and to feel sorry for yourself. And this is one thing that I learned that I didn't want to do in the first rounds here, because I know also Tormenta was a team that could have created problems, because they were quite organized and they had some good players. So if you're not prepared to play a strong game against them, you risk to feel sorry for yourself.
And they were champions of USL 1 last season.
Right.
So with that, yeah, so playing together. But when Man City was at Notts County, did they find humility in playing there?
They did. There's not that. Yeah. I can tell you the way I remember it is not that the guys, but it was, I think it was, the pitch wasn't the greatest. So we couldn't really play the football that we wanted. They were pressing. The crowd was all, the stadium was full, and everybody loves to see this romance that you're talking about. Everybody loves to see a big club going out against a small club. Is the, David and Goliath myth is that, everybody likes to see the underdog to overcome the big shots. So you have to be prepared to fight. And sometimes, I think we miss few goals. They managed to score on one occasion, and then sometimes it's not easy, especially because we were playing in Europe at the time. You are tired and you have the Premier League that you want. We were chasing to go in Champions League. And so many things go into the game. And I can tell you that it's not easy at all. It's a lot harder than people think.
Well, thank you very much. I look forward to Charlotte FC playing in Europe sometime soon.
That would be great.
Thank you.
All right, we'll end it with Carol. Last one.
Christian, what's Joseph Morris' status? Is he available at all?
He's improving. He's improving. I think this game comes a little bit too early for Joseph. But today he did the full training. He played. He did everything with the group of players that didn't start the last game, that they needed to be training hard. And so Joseph is in a good way, mentally, physically, he's getting better and better. But this game, I think, will come a little bit too early for him and for us. Okay, and one last about, I'll save this one for later, but so would Joseph be available for Atlanta, maybe? We will see. We have a few days still to monitor. Is already great news that he can train fully with the team. Whether he's going to be fully 100% against Atlanta, I don't know. This is something that I cannot say now. We need to see him training again tomorrow and the next few days, and then we will take this decision around Thursday, Friday. Okay. Thanks, Coach. Talk to you later.
Thank you. All right, thank you, guys. If you don't have credentials for tomorrow, send me an email.